What's up, guys? Welcome back to Mr. Cuda.
Hi.
This is our channel about our 1970 Barracuda Resto Mod 392. If you're new here, that's what it's about. If you've been here before, then you know what's going on. A couple people have asked some questions about putting the engine in and some of the difficulties, so we're going to catch everybody up on where we are and some of the hard parts. Okay, so we got our engine in here. Let me back this out a little bit. We put it in, and basically what we did was we lifted up the front of the car with the engine dolly or the engine hoist, and then we rolled this engine underneath with our wood pallet that we built it on. So we already had the transmission. We already had the transmission bolted up to it, and it was all on there in one piece. Rolled it under there, lifted it up, bolted it up to the car. Brendan's gonna lift the car up now. Pretty sure I saw it move. Okay, so some of the hard parts, some of the problems and things that are supposed to be a problem. We went ahead and we changed out the rubber vibration mounts for the solids. And one of the reasons is, so down in here, one of the problems, or what can be a problem, is the engine mount is buried under that header tube. See this tube right here, bud?
Oh, yeah.
Remember the engine mount is underneath it down there?
Yeah.
So it's kind of buried down under there, and let me look at it from the bottom. So here it is from the bottom, and you're really not getting to the back of that thing where the nut is up under there.
Yeah, I see it.
So it's tied up in there, and there's a bolt, you know, there's a nut that holds the isolator onto that mount, and that's really tight. And one of the other things is you're gonna have to you have to trim that out back behind that motor mount, so that thing sits like really, either trim the motor mount or the block. You can kind of see back in there where I trim the block away from the motor mount, but it's tight in there. It's real tight. So basically, long story short, if this driver's side motor mount lets go, which they basically do, or you know, the vibration isolator, whatever you want to call it, it's a motor mount, all the same thing. These things are, this is a nightmare to get it out of here. So I just put the solid on. I'm not even gonna mess with it. I'm not gonna take it out again. And to get this mount out, you have to take this header off. To get this header off, you have to lift the engine off of the K-frame to get it away from this power steering gearbox. So that's one of the problems. All right, so we've got the TKX transmission bolted up in here, and then back there you could see the that's the mount for the transmission, and basically that thing's got, it's like slotted. Let's see here, that thing's slotted, and it's all the way at the front. It's all the way at the front, and I've got the engine pushed as far back as it'll go in the solid motor mounts, and so that's basically as lined up as it's going to get. But I'll show you up in the front where the problem is. All right, so basically with the engine pulled back as far as it's going to go, this that header is like, man, that's, you know, you don't get much closer than that. So I ground, let's see if I can turn this better for you guys. So I ground the edge of that bolt. That way it shouldn't flex that much where it's going to touch, but it's basically clear of that, clears that. And then you have to cut out, if you're going to use this AC pump, you got to cut this notch out of the K-frame if you're using this one, because this bolt down here, that bolt right there, you can't get that bolt out if you don't lift the engine up. So that's basically, that's the thing on this side over here with this power steering. That power steering, that thing does not come out of there with the engine in here. that thing, you gotta lift the engine up, take the header off to get that power steering gearbox out. So this is a aftermarket gearbox. We got it from year one. It's like a reproduction. It's not an original. It's supposed to work better supposedly. So that's what that is. Can you make it?
Huh?
Can you make it?
Yeah.
It's kind of rainy here, so you got a little grease on your shirt too. Mom's gonna kill me.
And hands.
Oh boy. All right.
And the other hand.
Oh boy. Okay, this is the new alternator. I think this is a smaller alternator than some of the other ones. And basically, it's got pretty decent clearance. The bolts screw into the bottom. You can't take I don't think you can get the bolt all the way out without taking the top out. So that might be the only problem, but that's the frame rail down on the bottom. So I wouldn't do anything different with that. You just unbolt the top and then the two bottom ones come out. You can lift it right out of there. But it's got plenty of clearance there. And then shine this down here. We've got good clearance on the headers all the way down there. And let's take a look. Let's see what we got here.
And the Brendan turning something.
Yeah, so like on this side over here, that engine mount, you could get to that top of that. Can I zoom in on that? There you go, that bolt. You could get to that bolt right there if you needed to. And the other lower bolt. So that stuff's accessible here on the passenger side. It's just the top of that header just buries that thing on the driver's side. So if you wanted to, you could put one of the rubber vibration isolators on this side, and then it wouldn't be a problem. But I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it or not. What's that? What are you turning?
It's just a Brendan turning something.
That's how the alternator works. You get a little kid up here turning it.
Yeah, a little Brendan.
So when Brendan was a kid, he used to call well, he still is a kid. When he was a baby, he used to call the mufflers on the car the worms. The worms. So if a car had 2 exhaust pipes, it had 2 worms. If it had 4, it had 4 worms.
And I did a joke about
What's the joke?
Trim the kaboom booms.
Trim the kaboom booms.
Because they're loud.
Yeah. All right, so the back of the engine. Let's see the clearance. What kind of clearance you got back here? It's pretty close. Not too bad though. Could be worse, I guess. Not too bad. And I think what we're gonna have is a problem finding a good spot for the the electronic controller. I don't know exactly know where we're gonna put it yet. I'm thinking it might come down here where the horns used to be. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay out all the wiring, and then we'll figure out where everything needs to go. I might have to extend those wires. All right, let's look inside real quick. So what's this thing right here on the floor?
1 sec. I gotta open the door.
Okay, go ahead, open it.
Is this locked?
No. Oh. You gotta lift that handle all the way up. Yeah, right. Is that tired?
Box.
What is it?
The AC box.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. I think I told you that, huh? So there's a evaporator in there that gets really cold for the air conditioning. Do you remember where the AC pump is?
The AC pump?
Mm-hmm. It's on the front of the engine.
Yeah.
That's the thing that pumps the Freon in there. And then also this is the heater. So it's the air conditioning and the heater. And when we push the buttons on the controller, it turns stuff on and off. So basically this thing's been gone through. I got one of those kits and put all new seals.
I'll pinch it on. Get it? Because I'll pinch it, then turn, and it'll go on.
You trying to break my stuff already?
And the pincher, like, is on, and you pinched it on, and it was on.
So it came, all new seals on this thing, so it looks pretty good. Came out good. And we'll put that in there. Basically, get everything all cleaned up under here and start putting stuff in. And I'm working on the dashboard and all the wiring. We'll show you that in a second.
And it was getting too far, so I pinched it right to us.
All right. One other thing I got to show you guys is this deal right here. Let's go up to the front. Hold on to that bad boy. All right, if you're doing a TKX transmission, this is a TKX 5-speed. They give you this little support. And so this thing is supposed to go it's supposed to go here. And then you drill a hole here. But it doesn't line up, it's too long. So I have to shorten this rod to make this thing work. I gotta shorten it, I gotta drill another hole, maybe like 1/2 inch up here for this to work.
And I was thinking about to have...
2.5 inches?
No. I was thinking to have a barracuda plushie.
Maybe we'll make a barracuda sticker or something.
Or plushie. Or toy.
All right, so this is our wiring department. Here's our old wiring for the, it was a non-rally dash. And then now here's our dashboard mess for right now. Basically, we are putting in, we got one of these new wiring harnesses. This is M&H electric. It's pretty good harness. Everything matches. But we're converting over, we're putting some of the wiring from the 1974 Cuda that we had, and we're adding it on. So things like the A01 light package, we're putting on this one. And then we're changing over to, so this is the old style dash right here for the non-rally gauges.
And we put a kid in an electric tiny car.
It's the Batmobile.
Batmobile!
And then what we have is we've got the rally dash, but to use the new gauges, obviously you need the rally dash. So we use the rally dash from the 74, and then you know, the new dashboard. But we're gonna have to fix some of the cutouts and stuff for everything to fit in flush. So this dash is a little bit of work because there's a lot of trimming and fitting and cutting and getting these wires to fit and everything. And then we're going to start hooking up this Dakota Digital to where it all needs to go. Make sure everything works together. I think a lot of these are a lot of the wires right here for the instrument, the old gauges and everything. So some of these will get deleted or used for the new Dakota Digital, get wired in. But for the most part, like, you know, all these switches are basically the same, except for the windshield wiper switch. That's a little different. We're going to use the old 3-speed wiper motor, and then stuff like this. This is different. This cutout right here goes on the bottom of the old gauge cluster. So the old gauges are right here, and then the AC is square. So one of the problems that you'll have if you're doing like what we're doing, you got right there, there's one of the Barracuda AC controllers. You're gonna need one of the Cuda ones that's square versus Has that little cutout for the non-rally gauges. So a bunch of little stuff like that, but we've got quite a few parts to make this all happen. So this should go pretty quick, and we'll be getting it done here soon. All right, guys, that's our Barracuda. It's our 1970 Cuda 392 resto mod car. What do you think about it? You think it's gonna be fast?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you excited or are you not excited?
I am not excited.
All right, perfect. That's what I like to hear from my son.
I'm just kidding. All right. I like it.
All right, guys. We'll put some photos at the end here of all those tight fit components. All right, take it easy. Bye.